You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
I always tell people I'm always recruitable. I am not loyal to anybody.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, because I've learned that the hard way. And there was so many times I wanted to quit because I'm like, oh, this is so hard, but I'm like, it's gonna be harder when you ain't got nothing. It's a male-dominated industry, and most of the people you're selling to are men. So when you come looking good and you know your stuff, then they're like, okay, they're way more likely to give you that chance, at least to have that conversation.
Sometimes people just choose the popularity and the clout over other things. And the thing that's really scary is that many of those people, because they are around hyper successful people, they have this level of keeping up with the Joneses, but it's like they can't really keep up like that. Yo, so we are here at the Thrive Conference hosted by Black Men in Tech. And as we talk about thriving, realistically, what we've seen is that many people that follow our platform are either interested in finding a way that they can thrive in the tech industry, obviously, but many times those people have come along because they attempted to, at one point, thrive when it comes to being in the entertainment space, whether because you're a creative, you're an artist, an actor, whatever that might be. And one of the questions I get oftentimes from people is, man, is it possible for me to become successful in and outside of a tech career? Some people think you can only do one thing or do the other thing. But listen, y'all, we have an amazing treat for you. The guest that we have today is somebody that has been killing it, really killing it in the tech industry. We're gonna get to that in a second, but also has been able to accomplish some incredible feats outside of her job in tech. As always, make sure y'all give a wonderful round of applause. If you're driving in your car right now, tap your steering wheel so you don't wreck. Give it up for your guest, Aries Williams. Aries, thank you so much for being on Techisthenewblack Black.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I feel like this is like, the little popular spot to be.
Oh yeah?
So,
Hey, you the popular person to interview.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm very excited. Look, y'all, she's very decorated. This is an abbreviated bio. she like, y'all know I'm a Marine Corps veteran. It's like if she could wear all her awards on her chest, she'd be dripped out with all the awards and stuff with everything that she's done, everything she's accomplished. So this is gonna be a lot of fun, but very educational. So look, you ready to jump into it?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. Y'all ready to jump into it? Y'all ready? Y'all listening? Y'all ready? All right. So look, you are a senior client experience consultant for Software One, big deal of a company. About how much can someone make in your role, and break down exactly what it is that you do?
Okay, so. You can make however much you negotiate at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I would say a range would be, you could probably make up to 200 and some change. It could go as low as 100 and some change if you don't play your cards right. Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so basically my role, I used to be an account manager.
Yeah.
So I was working with clients and, it was tech sales basically.
Yeah.
But now my focus is more on helping the company grow in the customer care side of sales.
Okay.
So that you'll have people that are really good at sales, but they're not that great at building relationships or, maintaining that. So companies are looking at CSAT scores, and things like that. So when you have your elite clients,
what is a CSAT score?
CSAT, that's basically your customer satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
So they'll send surveys to customers after they've gotten quotes or, done a deal or something and say how was your experience, right? So that can range from a 1 to a 5. You don't want your companies that are spending millions of dollars with you a year saying it's a 1. Because more than likely they're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you have my team, basically we're coming in to help repair that if that's the case, at that point. So it's okay, what do we need to do to make this a better experience for this customer? Is it something with orders? Is it something we're not responding in a timely manner? We're not doing, things like that. So just we kind of come in triage, and put some systems in place and processes in place for it to be a better experience. So.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So this wasn't even the question I had on here, but you got me curious. So in your position, and obviously I know you transitioned from more of a, like you mentioned, account manager, which is within the tech sales space. But what it is that you do now, like you mentioned, it's more of like within the customer support, customer success side of things. Would someone, just in your recommendation, do you think it would be a more straight pathway for someone to start off within the customer success and customer success manager to move up into a role like yours? Or would you say they would have better luck starting out on the tech sales side of things to eventually move up to a role like yours?
I mean, you could do either one.
Yeah.
It probably would be smoother if you go straight from any kind of customer care role.
Yeah.
You can take that from any role. You could be working at the bank. I used to work at the bank.
Yeah.
I worked as a technical support rep for AT&T.
Yeah.
I was a business analyst, a project manager. I've done all these.
Yeah, I was looking at your LinkedIn. I said, yo, like clank, clank, clank. All yeah.
So, and I actually used to do this before I got into sales. I wasn't ever in sales. Like, I only did sales for 3.5 years. And that was just to be like, oh, people were like, your personality, you need to like do sales, you can make money, whatever. And even when I was in sales, I was using my customer care experience to get my clients to sell themselves, really, right? So I just like, if they like me, they're gonna buy from me. So I'm just gonna make sure that that's, cool. So I think you could do either path, really, but some people don't want to go through the sales path because they're like quotas and, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can definitely do that.
I predominantly see women who are a bit naturally more intimidated by doing a sales job. And I know that sales in and of itself is way more male dominated. It's even seen as like a very masculine role. But one thing I can say consistently is that whenever I see women in sales, they are just beasts. It's like they're just beasts. I have like such a immense respect for women that are in sales or have been in sales, because there's just something different about like when a woman is like selling something and she's confident, it's totally different than when a man is.
So the key is this, right? It's just like if you have a woman bartender, they're gonna get more tips, you know? It's a male-dominated industry, and most of the people you're selling to are men.
Yep.
So when you come looking good, and your stuff, then they're like, okay, they're way more likely to, give you that chance at least to have that conversation. Yeah, right?
I love it. We had Kayla B or Kayla Burks on before. She's pretty popular within the tech sales space. Her and a few others, and it's so beautiful to see women that don't shy away from like your femininity and your beauty, and you leverage that. The same way guys might leverage, something that, within their masculinity.
Right.
And it's beautiful realizing that you don't have to be masculine, or you don't have to be outside of yourself in order to be successful in something. You can always leverage just who you are naturally to find success within it. I think that's so fire.
Use your gifts.
Yeah.
I actually met her at a Sisters in Sales. There's a group called Sisters in
Sales
in
New York,
and I hosted one of their events. And so and there's a lot of women that are killing the game, in sales. So I love that as well. Like,
I got a couple homeboys that was talking about going up to New York. And said, hey fellas, look, for those of y'all that's single, y'all trying to be around some beautiful women in tech, y'all check out some
right.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And they making money.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, so for everybody that's interested in what this guest is talking about and you would love a similar career, I suggest you check out Careerist bootcamp. Careerist is a bootcamp that I have been partnered with for well over a year now, and they have helped more people break into tech, I'll be honest, than any other bootcamp that I've personally seen. So look, Careerist is only $500, that's it. But if you use our discount code Cyrus50, you'll get an additional $50 off. So that way all you pay is actually $449. That's it. No additional price later, no extra costs, extra fees. That's it with the price for Course Careers. Now, they're a self-paced bootcamp that you can take and be able to get a variety of different roles in tech. So make sure you check them out. Use our link below in that discount code if you want an additional $50 off, and keep us posted on your journey breaking into tech. So we're talking about you being at, these different variety of companies, and that's perfect segue to the next question. So you've been in tech for 20 years, would not be able to tell that.
I'm only like 25, so I don't know.
You look 25, and so I don't know, but so you've been in tech for 20 years, and you've done a combination of job hopping and staying at companies for a while to get several promotions within that company. Usually we see usually we see people that have either, traditionally stayed at companies for a very, very, very long time. But today we see a lot of job hopping. You've done a combination of both. Want to know from you, how do you know when you should job hop from a company to another versus when you're at a company, you're like, no, I'm gonna stay here for a while. I'm gonna move up the ranks. Like, how do you decipher that? And of course, communicate that in a way that kind of help people navigate their own careers.
Like for me though, when I started, I'm only 25, but it was a long time ago. And that was the time where people would tell you to stay at a good company, an AT&T or something, like stay there, you could retire, and all that, right? And so I had that mindset going in, and I just moved different roles, right, within the company, because it's certain companies you can do 20 jobs in one company, and just kind of keep moving up. But I think that once you realize that there's not any more growth for you, or you decide you want to transition doing something totally different that may not be the specialty of this company, right? There might be something else. I always tell people I'm always recruitable. I am not loyal to anybody. Exactly. I'm sorry, because I've learned that the hard way, because when the needs of the business change, if they want to, cut the department or do this, then they're not going to be loyal. So you always got to, I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I'm always looking, let me see what else is going on. What's the trends, And so also, if you want to make more money, that is kind of the way to get a quick 20K, or whatever, if you need to do something different. So, I think you can feel it, it's like there's a book called Who Moved My Cheese. It's the quick read, right? But it's like when you can kind of sense that things are shifting, or maybe there's a new CEO, maybe there's some new, changes in the org, and you're like, I don't really feel it. The company gets bought by
another company.
Yeah, and so you're like, nah, this not really still aligning with what I want to do, or maybe I don't feel heard here or seen here. There's different things that you could, determine what the next move should probably be.
I think that's incredibly important for people to highlight. And I want to emphasize what she just said here, because many times people get in this industry, especially when people are new to this industry. They get in the industry, and then they kick their feet up, they're excited, they're like, oh my God, especially if they hit that 6-figure mark.
Right.
They like, yo, I'm good, life is good, I'm chilling. And many times they're not paying attention to what's happening within the company. They're just so focused on flexing on social media, telling people I'm in tech now, but they're not paying attention to what's actually happening within their company.
Yes.
And so that's why even like Tech is the New Black, our original kind of saying or slogan, which we're evolving from this now, but originally it was breaking the tech, scaling tech, start your own tech business. But the part of the scaling component was like, yo, don't just get in the industry, but scale. Scale not just meaning in terms of your salary, your position, but scale in terms of your understanding of this industry, both the opportunity and the threats. And so I really think it's important for people to really absorb what it is that you just said and to operate within that same wisdom. Because if you wait, like you mentioned, if you wait until your cheese get moved, now you scrambling and you looking real crazy.
Exactly. You got to attend the company town halls. Find out what's the focus, of the business. What are they putting their money into now? What companies are they investing in? Maybe you need to start, if it's some AI, or something like do some training, so you can have your skill set up, and maybe you can move, into new roles within the company and stuff like that too. So.
Yeah, no, I love it. So people in tech are usually fearful of their career being ruined by doing something that isn't politically correct. And you being someone who's done reality TV, we both know that reality TV shows are infamous for editing clips to make people look crazy, make them look not politically correct at all. So wanted to know, how did you navigate that risk? Like when you said, hey, I'm gonna accept going into reality TV, I'm sure you thought about that, because people would say, we care about our careers, we care about our career brand and how we look. So what were your thoughts? Like, I guess really first, why did you accept it? And then how did you go through with kind of navigating that risk?
So I was on Ready to Love. It's a dating show, a little less risky, than some of the other ones that are out there, where literally everyone's life on the show is about drama, right? But I definitely care about my, my job, my reputation, things like that. So, I mean, I feel like it wasn't that difficult because I kind of carried myself like that every day. I was being my authentic self as much as possible on there, but I also was being aware of like, there would be times where certain personalities on the show that like to argue, they want to go back and forth, you know, try to push people's buttons, you know, and things like that. So for me, I had to really tap into my emotional intelligence and make sure that I'm regulating, you know, so that I'm not like, I would know that there will be a time like where someone would say, maybe they say something I really want to comment on. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not about to comment on this because it's going to be a back and forth. Yeah. Right? And that's going to look bad. Yeah. Especially if they choose to edit it a certain way. Exactly. No, they're going to edit it. Yeah, they're going to do it. So you start learning that, and I'm like, I'm just not going to say nothing. Yeah. So I really, probably the first couple episodes, you didn't really see a lot of me because I wasn't chiming in on things and I was being more quiet than, you know, I probably would in regular life. Yeah. I was like, if this was regular, I would have said something. You know what I mean? But we ain't trying to be. Exactly. My coworkers watching this. You know what I mean? Yeah. My boss was watching it. Like, I'm like, no, we're not. And it's so interesting because from their vantage point, they know you, but they don't know what's edited and what's not. Yes. And so even though they know you, they could see something and be like, whoa, is this how Aries really is? Like, yo, she really think like that? Exactly. You know, all the while, you know, you don't see it until the same time it drops. You're like, that's not how it happened. Exactly. But they're gonna be like, no, that look like that's how it happened. Yeah, I was on just one episode. I was featured on a reality TV show. I can't even remember the name of the show, but I remember I was featured on it, and they had us do the same scene twice, and that was weird. I was like, okay, it's supposed to be reality, but we have to reenact what just happened. Okay, whatever, cool. But I remember how they spoke to the women that were the cast members of the show. And they wanted to redo it, but they wanted them to like act out. And because I was hosting an open mic, so I was a host of an open mic event. They had the women show up, and they wanted us to do poems about God, about faith, about hope, about love. And at first, the women actually were enjoying the poetry. They were like, oh my God. And then they were like, no, we got to redo it. They said, no, we need y'all to act ratchet. Like, they didn't say ratchet, but basically they said, no. They said when he's talking about God and Jesus, say some crazy stuff. See, no. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, that's so wild to me. All right, so countless people have been asking how they can be guests on Tech is the New Black. And ever since we have grown to being the largest tech business and tech career platform in the world, those requests have gone through the roof. So for everybody that wants to be a guest on Tech is the New Black, here's all you have to do. Are you ready? Either head to techisthenewblack.com and fill out the guest request form, or click the link here to where you can go ahead and request to be a guest on our platform. That's it. It's that simple. But to let you know though, we are only looking for guests that are either founders of tech businesses, whether your entire business is tech-based or you have technology within your business that you're leveraging, or we are looking for tech influencers to be on our podcast. People that can show those how to break into tech, scale in tech, get to the tech bag many different ways. When it comes to founders, we want founders that are either hiring or you're looking to reach investors or you're looking to get more brand awareness from being on Tech is the New Black. Make sure you head to our website or click the link in the description so that way you can be a guest on our show, and we'll see you later. No. So what really, and this kind of goes into the next question, still within the same topic, but when we look at the whole idea of Tech is the New Black, it's a double entendre. Part of it is just saying like, yo, tech is the industry everyone should pay attention to, because something being the new black is saying that, hey, this is the new cool thing. But the other meaning of Tech is the New Black is to actually represent black people, saying, hey, this is what new black is. You know, typically people see black many times as black being ghetto, it being unprofessional, it being poor. Tech is the new black, or new black is saying, hey, new black is professional, new black is successful, new black is intellectual. This is what new black is. And this is what we represent, and this is what you represent. Yeah. When we look at, not Ready to Love, not the show you were on, but most reality TV shows, do you feel that many times the representation of us on those shows
contradicts what we want to actually be seen as a community?
100%. I mean, and that's probably one of the things that had me hesitant to even go on the show, because I'm just like, because you do see those like arguments and there's always like a villain, you know, or whatever. And I'm like, child, I don't want nobody trying to try me on these shows, you know, because that does make, it just feeds into that narrative, the negative narrative, right? It's annoying, like.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
I don't really watch a lot of reality TV anymore because it was just so much. I was like, this is like, if people who never seen, you know, really had engagement with Black people, they're gonna think this is literally how we are all the time. And I don't think that that's something, especially for like our kids that are coming up. You know, I do a lot with like trying to get girls to get into to tech and choose STEM careers and things like that. And I'm like, you can be cool and be in tech, right?
Exactly.
Like, that's like literally your whole, you know, what Tech is the New Black is. It's like, you don't have to look ugly or act crazy, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's definitely a bad part of reality, but people watch it.
Yeah, they do.
So that's why they keep doing it, you know, it's entertainment.
What's a word of advice that you would give to someone who, let's say someone gets an opportunity to be on a reality TV show, and whether it's one that's like a bit more polished and conservative, like Ready to Love, or if it's something that's like, I'm not gonna name any other shows, but the other ones most people know about. So they come to you as a mentor, and they're like, you know, Aries, like, what's a word of advice? Because I love working in tech, I wanna continue working in tech, but I also want to like leverage becoming popular within the reality TV show space because it'll help my brand or a business I have on the side, whatever that is. What's some advice that you would give them when it comes to, because one of the things like you mentioned, I met R. Kelly's ex-wife a few years ago, and because her daughter was always in the open mic space, and I met her and got to talk a lot, and she had revealed to me she was on a reality TV show, which most people know about now. At the time I didn't know, but she told me that the show didn't last long, and she said, yeah, because myself and a lot of the women refused to act out and do certain things. She's like, so because of that, the ratings were low because we didn't produce enough drama. And she said, especially me, she said, I refuse to do certain things. And I was like, yo, shouts out to you for that. But at the same time, it's like, but dang, her career was short-lived because she chose to not act out a certain way. So how do you think someone can navigate becoming popular in that space while still maintaining a certain level of basically respect and also keeping their career brand intact? Or maybe do you think it's not even possible? Like, what would you advise?
I think it's possible, but the thing is, people like entertainment, right? So unless you're just like super funny and you got all the one-liners, you know what I mean, or whatever, you can make it work. But I think because of the nature, so the advice I would give would be like, go to therapy.
Yeah. Ooh.
Right? Like I'm all about, therapy, and I kept going while doing the show as well, right? To talk out all the things, with her. And then because you want to work on your emotional regulation, because they put you in scenarios where maybe y'all haven't eaten all day, and they got liquor up in there, the whole time. So people just live,
they trying to get you.
And then you're like, when you hangry, you're like, okay, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You're gonna have attitude, right? So you got to pay attention to that. So sometimes I'll be like, I'm not drinking. I'm just gonna drink water.
Yeah.
Or whatever, until I get a sandwich. Or whatever, right? So you have to just pay attention to that and know that this is a production.
Yeah.
They're trying to produce a scene or put you in a scenario. So it's sometimes when I feel like, oh, they're really trying to like kind of create this certain thing.
Yeah.
If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'm like, nah, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Because I know what I want to represent, right? I'm in control of mine here. Nobody else cares about how I present.
Yeah.
But me, so always remember that part, because otherwise you're going to be, oh, well, they told me to say this. Okay, well, now you look stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
So that's on you, and you are responsible for that. So like for me, I'm like, when I would hear people say that, because some people use that as an excuse, like when the edited version of something comes out. And there's definitely some editing that's, you're like, okay, that didn't happen at that point. It happened over here and they moved it, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, they only can edit what you give.
That's true.
So regardless of, even if I said that over here, I mean, they could definitely put some stuff together.
Could try,
It could, but aside from that,
just don't give them too much for them to work on.
So like literally, okay, we're on the show and let's say, we're all dating the same guys, right? So somebody would say something about a guy that I'm dating, right? And I know the camera's gonna come to my face. Like I'm like, they're gonna, as soon as someone says like, oh, he did this, they're gonna be like, let me see. They're gonna try to see what your reaction. And I'll be like, I will always just be smiling, like, oh, that's cool. That's great. They'd be like, how do you feel about, these guys dating? I'm like, I love it. I think they should date all the girls. Like, y'all should go on all the dates.
Like, I go catch me
date everybody. So then by the time you come to me, I know that, I'm the person that you want to date.
You know what it is? You just too smart for them games. Because I'm sitting there listening to you, and in the midst of the conversation, I'm remembering, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm talking to the same woman that's moved up in the tech space, that's been on the tech sales side of things, that's worked with enterprise clients. And like, naturally, you have to know how to navigate, negotiate some very interesting territories with like millions and hundreds of millions of dollars on the line.
Yes.
So you doing things like that for years, it's like, ain't no way some reality TV show gonna play you.
Yeah, no. I mean, I had customers that were Trump supporters that would they knew that I was not a Trump supporter, right? But they would like kind of throw that out there to try to check me. And I'd be like, I love that. I'm like, you should.
I love that for you.
It was the points where I'm like, I don't care who you vote for, as long as you sign this SOW when I get there.
Exactly.
I do not care. And then it loosened them up to where they're like, okay, she's not even fazed by me.
Exactly.
They know they're playing games, trying to do it. And I'm like, I could care less.
Exactly.
I'll be like, go ahead and get your Make America Great Again hat going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care, because at the end of the day, you have a goal in mind. So that's either with the reality thing or with tech.
That's a lot.
You gotta stay focused, because people are going to try, especially if you're black in this space. Like I've been the only black woman on my team for 3 years. Wow. So it's like, you gotta know you gotta be confident in who you are. And you're like, I'm trying to get to this bag or whatever you're trying to get to. You keep that at the end of that needs to be always in sight,
That's what you just said was such a bar. That goes way beyond tech. That's really a huge life lesson, because many times people, they mess up a huge opportunity because they get rattled by something someone does. And that's not to downplay the rattling, but it's to just really talk about, no, like, you need to be a person, you should become a person where it's like, you're unmovable despite the rattling, because you're so focused on the end goal. You're like, yo, I'm not worried about all this extra stuff that's happening.
And I'm not saying that because I've never been rattled. I've been rattled. I've let people shake me, and I'm like, dang, why'd I let that happen, But I'm from the hood. Like, everything I have I'm talking about I come from the bottom. Yeah. So like I was a 7-year-old saying, I'm not about to live like this. I don't want this life. So I literally focused because I was like, I'm going to school. Like I'm going to get whatever the education I need to get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
So that was already in me from the beginning. So it's like, no, we gotta go. You know, and it was so many times I wanted to quit because I'm like, oh, this is so hard, you know, but I'm like, it's gonna be harder when you ain't got nothing. Right? Like, is it gonna be harder to get something or harder to not have nothing?
Exactly.
So
like choose your hard.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that so much. I love that so much. So look, let us know what y'all think about the bar that she just dropped in the comments, because she's giving so many bars passively. She's trying to just skirt past them. And I'm like, no, run that back real quick. Let us know, like, just out of all the bars she's been dropping so far, like what gems that you've been appreciating the most. If you're interested in breaking into a 6-figure career in tech or scaling to over $500,000 in tech, then this video is for you. If not, then just swipe away. But I was able to break into the tech industry October 2021. And in my first year, I scaled to over $500,000 in tech. My second year, I was able to gross over $1 million. More importantly, I was able to freely help over 600 people break into 6-figure tech careers as well and scale further in the industry. Now, the number one question I've been getting from people is, how was I able to do this? How was I able to make so much money? How was I able to also help as many people as I've been able to help? Well, aside from doing coaching calls and trying to spend a whole bunch of time helping people individually, I've decided to create the Tech Rich program, where I literally break every single thing down that I've done and what I've been doing to show others how they can break into tech faster or scale to over $500,000 plus within their first few years in the tech industry as well. All you gotta do, click the link in my bio. All the information's there. Check out the description. Message me if you have any other questions, and I'll see you on your journey scaling in tech. So, look, so you've been on Ready to Love, been killing in the tech industry. One question that I have is, pay-wise, do you think on average someone makes more money if they wanted to just full-time do reality TV, or them really focusing on their tech career, their tech brand, and them leveraging in this industry? What do you think is a better route for someone to be in if they had to choose one over the other?
Tech. I would never choose reality as a full-time thing.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like Nene Leakes, you know, like one of those, but you're gonna have to be a drama person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're making big bags, you know, but still, it's consistently, you're gonna make money, you know, in the tech space. You know what I mean? So that's not even like.
I just had to ask, I knew people were gonna ask, like, oh, like which,
and
you know, what do you
pay
think?
That much.
So
I know,
I low key know that, but it's sometimes, and you know this better than I know this. Like sometimes people just choose the popularity and the clout, you know, over other things. And the thing that's really scary is that many of those people, not only is that industry so volatile, but many of those people, because they are around hyper successful people, they have this level of keeping up with the Joneses, but it's like they can't really keep up like that. And so that's a really scary space to be in.
That's how folks end up going to jail. You see that headline.
All the scam stuff.
Yeah, like we're not trying to be scammers. We're trying to actually pay our taxes. You know? So we're not doing that full time.
All right, so one of the conversations that are constantly happening that I get from a lot of different women and even men that are getting into tech is they're like, yo, like, you know, I'm looking for me a tech dude. They don't say tech dude. They don't say dude. They say something else. But you know, we gonna keep it professional. But they like, yo, like I'm looking for a tech guy. You know, or same thing with guys. Guys are like, yo, like, you know, they go to Citizen Sales or Baddies in Tech. They be like, man, what a tech honey's at? Afro Tech about to come over there. What a tech honey's at? Speaking of being on Ready to Love, what has your experience been like when it comes to dating successful men in tech versus maybe men in the industry, artists, actors, whoever? What has your experience been like? And would you encourage women to date men that are in tech?
Child, these men are men, okay? It's not no difference. It's not no difference. I think the thing is that they're looking at that because the men, you know, they're probably making some money. right? So
and probably seen as intellectual as well. So he's a tech guy.
It's like, oh, I want a nerd. No, you want somebody who makes some money.
Exactly. It's like, you don't care if you're a nerd or a thug.
You're like, I want to. He need to be a corporate thug with a nerd with a little. No, you won't. You
need to be a reformed hood dude that love Jesus but still smoke and still all that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think it's really a big difference, honestly. I mean, yes, if you want someone, they're doing something different and, you can learn from them and things like that. That's cool, but as far as the dating part, it's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same. Rhea, why you gonna say it like you date? Y'all Rhea behind the camera like it's the same. Rhea, what tech dudes you been there? We gotta mic Rhea up.
Right.
let me find out that you got a boo here at the conference. let me find out. Yeah, no, we can cut that out.
Keep that in.
Hey, look, y'all, for all the men that's watching this, those of y'all that are in tech, look, hey, Rhea looking for a tech zaddy. She looking for a tech zaddy. Tech zaddy. Yo, I'm so dead, y'all. We
they got tech groupies out here, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
it's some tech groupies.
What?
Because, shoot, guys be groupies too, though.
Oh, of course. Of course.
But, because of what you said. Like, them like, oh, we're going to go to the conference because, like, it's going to be some, you know what I mean? So, I get it.
I have a homegirl. Who she is and there are a lot of women like this. I've realized this now. But she was probably the first woman that I learned was like this. She's like an expert at spotting guys that have money. Mm-hmm. And like she would like look at like, simple things like a watch. Be like, oh, you got a Rolex, you got this, okay. Mm-hmm. But then she like really would dial in and peep game on what card a guy was paying with. To be like, okay, is he paying with an Amex? Is it a debit card? Like, what is he doing exactly? And she would just really narrow in on certain things. What's really funny to me was that I introduced her to a homeboy of mine. She ended up meeting a homeboy of mine. And he's actually the dude who inspired me to get in the tech industry. Okay. And, he had a dope pad. And they started dating really quick, like really. Like the next day, bingo. The very next, like literally she met him that night. The next morning they were getting brunch. Dang. And then later that night they had dinner. And then all that week, they went out on like an average of like 2 dates a day. It was crazy. And that's when I was like, oh, and all the restaurants they were going to, at the time were restaurants I'd never heard of. Is the STKs or Ruth Chris. Mm-hmm. And he was naming all the restaurants and I was like, that's in Atlanta? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, he was my homie, but he was being real with me. He was like, bro, you gotta make a certain type of money to go to spots like that all the time. And so that's when I realized, I said, bro, you making money like that? I'm like, you going to all these restaurants? So, but what's funny to me is how he was the first tech dude she's dated. Since then, and it's only been like 2 years since then, she's had like 2 or 3 other like tech boyfriends. Like she is not playing. A couple of them don't been on the Parker. I mean, but now she is like womenintech. She's like, as soon as she hear dudes in tech, she's like, okay, cool, I'll talk to you.
It's the new lawyer, doctor. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's doctors and lawyers making the same money as people in tech. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you can definitely, it's a place. Yeah. It's another pool. Yeah. But these men the same, child.
Hey, look, yeah.
Y'all the same.
Choose your struggle. Choose if you want to struggle with a medical doctor working 12 hours a day, surrounded by a whole bunch of nurses, or you want to be with a lawyer or a tech dude at tech conferences. So, no, that's funny though. So look, you have really been killing it so much in this space. Would love to give you the floor just for anything you want to communicate that's on your heart, whether it's something that you're working on, that you're doing, as well as just reality, like just another gem or nugget that you want to leave people with.
My main thing is about promoting like authenticity. Yeah. Whatever you're doing, when you walk into a room, and in this industry, you're gonna be probably one of the only ones as a Black person, right? So you gotta be yourself. Mm-hmm. I always tell my team, like, I'm like, you're welcome, for my presence. Yeah. Not even to sound like cocky or nothing, but it's really like, I'm giving you a chance to authentically be in a space of a Black woman, who I am, get to know me, learn me, you know, and things like that. Yeah. And so like, it's a value. And honestly, me being as authentic as I am, this is probably this role, this company that I'm in right now is probably the most of my authentic self I've been at a company. That. I mean, I walked through the door that way. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I have my faux locks. I'm like, this is who I am. I got a podcast called Bold Black Girls. Yep. Y'all got a problem, you know, whatever. And they love that. Yeah. Like, literally, like, oh my God, we have someone in here who can like help us like learn this stuff that we just didn't know or wasn't even comfortable asking. You know what I mean? So you can help make change in the space by just being who you are, you know, and most of us, we're already techie. We already know this stuff. We're innovative. I was saying in our session yesterday, I'm like, how many ways you can use a plastic bag?
What?
Baby, we could use a bag and do, we got so many things that we've created. We know how to make something stretch. We can make $1.15. You know, we know how to make things happen. So you take all those skills and bring it into whatever that role is and make it yours. Don't try to copy what other people are doing. If you're in tech sales, you don't have to sell like the other people. Yeah. Do it the way that works for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think that's the biggest thing that I value when I meet people and they're genuine. You know, people are gonna feel that. You're gonna feel it. So let people feel who you are and don't, you know, hide your blackness. You know what I mean? You don't have to speak the same way as everybody else. You don't have to wear your hair the same way. Like, be your full self, you know what I mean? And so, and yes, I do have a podcast called Bold Black Girls. We're on YouTube as well as any podcast player of choice. We're trying to get on the Tech is the New Black level, you know. But now that we're partners, I'm glad that we, you know, you support us. So,
definitely.
So I'm definitely, thank you for having me. I am really excited. I love your platform. I love everything you're doing. You making tech cool for us.
Thank you.
Which we need. Because we need more of us here.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.